Welcome back. Today I'm going to be covering another Goosebumps episode, another one of my favourites for the twist. This is The Girl Who Cried Monster. We begin with a shot of the classic American family house, which is about 10 times bigger than the actual family house. Big garden, we've got Lucy, the main protagonist of this story. She loves to tease her little brother Randy about scary monsters.
What do you mean, toe biter?
We got Becky and Lila next door.
Oh, use your foot!
Do it real quick.
Get away!
She tells him about the toe biter in the bushes before we get that classic minute in fade to black that you only get from a Goosebumps episode. Randy, being the scared little brother he is, decides not to help his sister but to run into the house to shout at his mum, tell her about the toe biter. Not long after, Lucy runs in after him with all her toes intact.
Lucy, would you please stop scaring your little brother?
Oh, Mom, it was just a joke.
How did all your toes grow back?
Obviously, we get the impression here that she cries wolf a lot, or gets her brother to cry wolf a lot about monsters, and she scared him, and her mum's getting a bit tired of it. But the mum cuts Lucy off by reminding her about reading rangers.
Lucy, don't you have reading rangers at the library? Why don't you go and bother Mr. Mortman for a while?
But before going, Lucy reminds her brother that
Better give me back my toes, because I promised to cut yours off and give them to him tonight. No!
we cut to Lucy returning Black Beauty.
Well, what did you think?
2 thumbs down.
But Lucy, Black Beauty is a classic.
It would have been better if the horse had 2 heads. And big old gnarly fangs.
Upon choosing out another book, she picks Frankenstein. Mr. Morton reminds her that that's another classic. Are you sure you want that one?
Are you sure, Lucy? Frankenstein is a classic as well.
Yeah, but this one's got a monster.
Her friend Aaron then says, wouldn't it be cool if monsters were real?
Wouldn't it be cool if they were real monsters?
Well, I'm not so sure, Aaron. Most people like to be frightened in movies or stories. Not in real life.
You find a lot in this episode that Mr. Morton describes everything in quite a sinister tone. When he says anything, there's sort of an underlying tone, that bit of euphemism to it in a horrific way. As Lucy and Aaron are walking home, Lucy's forgotten her rollerblades.
Oh, my blades. I forgot them at the library.
Oh, man, I gotta get home.
Oh, no big deal. I'll see you later.
Lucy goes back to the library, which, side note, looks like it's set in a creepy manner to begin with. Cheap jump scares and cat sounds ensue as she approaches the library. Upon retrieving her rollerblades, she's intrigued by what Mr. Morton's saying in the distance and is humming. She goes to investigate and she witnesses him feeding his pet spiders, pet tarantulas.
It's dinner time, my furry friend. Oh, aren't you hungry? Crickets, my little friends.
How long was she in there? Because she didn't seem like much. She went in, yes, it was a bit dark, it was late evening. She comes out, it's pitch black. Are her parents not worried about where she is? Well, if she can handle the toe biter, then she can stay out all night and handle anything else the life has to throw at her. Lucy runs home, her dad's there as well now. She's talking really quick, she's worried. Her parents obviously don't believe her because she cries wolf all the time, hence the name of the episode.
Mom! Dad! A monster! Huh? Where? At the library! That eats bugs!
Oh, I hope this monster thing was just a phase you were going through.
Lucy then devises a plan to capture some evidence, so she picks up her very 90s pink photo camera and she's going to get some evidence of Mr. Morton. Knowing what we know now as the audience, what we've seen, it seems even more sinister, the way that double meanings to what Mr. Morton is saying, especially with Frankenstein and having sympathy for the monster.
Didn't you think that the monster was the most sympathetic character in this story?
Do you believe in monsters?
Perhaps we all have a little monster in us, Lucy.
He mentions a monster in all of us. This is going to be important for later on. Upon going to leave, Lucy pulls an elaborate fake out before laying in wait for Mr. Morton so she can get a photo of the monster, the bug-eyed monster that he is. The nonchalant humming fills the library as Lucy walks towards Mr. Morton. Now, at this point, he is actually eating the tarantulas as well, but when I watched this for the first time, I thought, okay, she's there with the monster. The flash is going to set it off, and he's just going to be like, what's there? But there's no flash. It's just the clicking of the cat. So he's got these big eyes, but in the end, it's his ears that alert him to something being there.
Who's there?
Insert 90s pun.
Keep running, little one. I love fast food.
Lucy finds a dead end, which I'm surprised by because she goes to that library so often. Before he appears, let's just have a quick jump scare. Lucy manages to get away and UV black light fills the library. She runs for the exit. Camera in hand, which surprisingly I thought that was going to be a bit of the twist of that scene. I thought Morton would get the camera, stop her getting the evidence. Camera in hand, she runs home, phones up Aaron, and he calls it.
You're forgetting something, Lucy.
Your library card has your address on it.
Mortman knows where you live. He could be on his way to your house this minute.
That's not funny, Aaron.
Good evening, Lucy.
Where's Chris Hansen when you need him?
What are you doing here?
Morton doesn't quite force his way in, but he has Lucy's backpack and he says, would it not be easier if she opened the door?
No. My parents aren't home right now. I mean, they'll be home any minute.
It's okay, Lucy. It's really you that I've come to see. You left your backpack at the library. Wouldn't it be easier if you opened the door and let me hand it to you?
Morton leaves with, it wouldn't be him without another sinister line, and the creepiest version of the Royal Wave I've ever seen.
I look forward to our next little chat.
Mortman was here! We've got to get this film developed right away. I took a picture that proves he's a monster.
Oh, do you remember the days when you had to get your photos developed? My God, what a bygone era. What a time capsule, in some ways, this part of the episode was.
Go! Nice work.
Randy, get into the car, please.
You heard your father.
Guess who's back again.
You're quite the photographer. Been thinking about monsters again.
It was at this point I realised it's Mr. Mortman, not Mr. Morton.
Wait a minute. Bart's teacher is named Krabappel? I've been calling her Crandall. Why didn't someone tell me? Oh, I've been making an idiot out of myself.
And I've been making an absolute idiot of myself. So it is Mr. Mortman, but I thought I would keep the fact that I got his name wrong to begin with in the start of this review. So there you go. That's why if in the comments you've watched the start of the review and you're saying that's not his name, it's Mr. Mortman, not Mr. Morton. That's why. I know what his name is now. To Lucy's dismay and horror, her parents actually invite Mr. Mortman back for dinner to the house.
Thanks very much for bringing home Lucy's backpack today.
Oh, it was nothing. I was on my way.
Mr. Mortman, why don't you come over for dinner tomorrow night?
Lucy's been talking a great deal about you. It'd be nice to get to know you better.
Been so long since I've had a home-cooked meal.
Now, does anyone think it's really weird inviting a child's librarian, who's a really old man, to dinner? It just seemed really odd to me.
There's somebody at the door. There's somebody at the door.
And Mr. Mortman is actually wearing a new sweater, cardigan, new design. My God, this is brilliant. That is character development, especially for our villain. For anyone who's not seen the episode yet, this is the part where you can pause the video and have a little thought to yourself. What do you think the twist is going to be? There's obviously going to be a twist. Well, here we go.
What's for dinner?
Well, it was going to be a surprise, but...
Since you asked, you are.
Excuse me? I thought you said...
That's right. You are.
And the great bit about this scene is, if you've seen my Shocker on Shock Street, I tell you about some of the masks in the backstage area that we used in other episodes. Now this episode happened before Shocker on Shock Street. The snake face masks, which I mentioned in our video, are used in this episode.
Then there was Snakeface.
He loves raw meat.
Still cool to see them use that mask, and in Shocker on Shock Street, see that throwback where they called the mask Snake Face.
Now that was a close call. And never, ever let anyone know that we are monsters.
We know that.
And we can't have any other monsters in town either.
And do you know why?
Because they might tell other people about us.
And they'd be frightened, and they'd chase us away.
Or worse. Mr. Mortman's the first monster to come around in 20 years.
Is there another monster outside?
Another one.
Hey, what's up?
And I like this. The second fake out, he also asked,
What's for dessert?
You like cherry pie?
Sure.
But I rate this episode, I like the twist. Again, I think it's a very simple one. I think it's a bit different. There are a lot of episodes, oh, the character was dead the whole time, the protagonist was dead the whole time, or the antagonist was dead the whole time, or the friend was dead the whole time. And it's nice to have something different. It's one of the earlier episodes. I think it was episode 4 of season 1. I would recommend this episode. It's a good episode. If you liked it, if you've got memories of it, or you've got any other episodes you want me to cover, put it in the description. Put it in the comments below. I appreciate you watching, and hopefully I'll see you back here soon for a review on something else. But till then, take it easy.